E3 here, following my unique vibration. It's great to make a video again. So it's gonna be, it might be quick, it might be a little longer, depending. But we'll see how much time I have here. I'm trying to remember because so much has happened. So I took the infection kind of came back in the head, and I was on IV antibiotic, and you can't see because of there's a glare here, but I had the staples were taken out. I was going to show you the staples, but I forgot that the staples are out, which is a good thing. But the infection, it came back a little bit, and I have a feeling it's because I was on the IV antibiotics, and the infection got better, and the IV antibiotics ended, and the infection was still doing good, but I think it might have needed a little bit longer. But overall, the infection, it came back, but it's doing okay. So what's happening is that they put me on an oral antibiotic because with the hospital situation in New York, they didn't want to have me on a PICC line just in case going to the hospital. So they gave me oral antibiotic, levofloxacin, but that I resisted it first because it wrecked my stomach. But then I took it. But then the error, which I didn't realize until now, is that there was the side effects of levofloxacin are severe mood and mental. I don't even know if it says, I don't have the description here, but I know, I'll see if I could find it. Here it is. Severe mood and mental changes. So that, coupled with the fact that the last time I took it, I didn't take it with THC. This time I took it with THC. And so it was a really weird experience. And plus the first time I didn't like it anyway because it wrecked my stomach. But the main thing, especially this time, it was with the THC. So those two things together, I had the weirdest, darkest, and at times most beautiful experience of my life. And so I had to go to a hospital. I'll try to start from the beginning and then go from there. I'll try to remember all the details. Can't remember all the details, which was part of the experience. It was like there was like memory loss in part of it, and which is freaky because I don't miss out, especially with the extreme things that happen, which I'll describe. Some of them I literally don't remember at all. And I don't know if it was just because of the levofloxacin or that in conjunction with the THC, or something with the 5G going on in New York. So if at any point this video ends, it's for some random reason, which I don't know why. Either somebody comes in the room, which is kind of energetically random, or because I told my mom making a video not to come in, or some sort of like somebody's watching right now and the video ended. So I'll start from the beginning. I'll try to remember as much as I can. So I started to have these like spiritual meditations, and it felt like Spirit was guiding me to do certain things and meditations and say different prayers. It felt like Spirit was connecting with me, but then it felt like seizures were gonna kick in. And then I recently learned that levofloxacin, it aggravates seizures. And levofloxacin, I was taking, I think, 750 milligrams. It's an extremely strong dose, very strong. And that coupled with the amount of THC that I took, I think it was like 1.5 dropperfuls, which for me, it's not that much. Plus later on that night, my mom gave me, I do remember she gave me another dropperful. I don't know the exact kind because it was dark in the room. I don't know if she gave me the sleep kind or the calm kind. I think it's calm. There's sleep, calm, harmony, and then awake. Awake is the most stimulating of these kinds. So only recently, because of the seizures, I've been taking sleep. And then recently, she gave me calm. So I'm pretty sure it was the calm, because she wanted to try out that new one. So I felt like seizures were kicking in, and like even now it feels like aggravating to look at the screen, but I have to make this video. But then I felt like seizures were gonna kick in, and then it felt like I had to do certain things to keep the seizures away, like random things, like touching, I don't know, my right knee with my right hand, and then touching the table, and then the seizure would soften, and then it felt like it would come back, and then this process went on, and then it would go back to the positive of like, it felt like the spirit was telling me I had to say a certain prayer for someone or something like that, and this would go back and forth, and at times that I'd have to say the positive prayer, not even to keep the seizure away, just felt like I had to do it. This process went on and on. It felt like for hours, and then like I felt like for some reason my mom and stepfather shouldn't come in the room. I had set it up like a sanctuary. There's a Yeming big Yeming. I mean, it's not huge. It's like this size. I would show you, but I don't want to get up to get it. It's like 1.5 inches. It's a sphere. It's like 1.5 inches across. So I just felt like they shouldn't be here in the room. And I was like, okay, well, I just have to keep on, not focus on negative things in this room, only focus on positive while I'm in this room. So that's what I'm trying to do now, even with all these words. So I feel like the levofloxacin a little bit is still in my system. I didn't take it yesterday. I only took it. I didn't take it this past night. I took it 2 nights ago. It was the first time that I took it since like a month ago. Like I told you, when I didn't want to do the PICC line, but I did the oral flaxacin for just 1 day, and then it felt weird in my stomach. So that's the only time, but I didn't take it with THC. But this time I took it 2 nights ago, and then I didn't take it last night because the doctor said don't take that again, because we told them about the experience. So continuing with what was happening, so I felt like my parents shouldn't come in this room for some reason, but not to tell them that, but just to like, just I don't know, that's what I felt. But then eventually, it's hard to describe the things that happened, but because I'm trying to keep it sequential, but I'll be jumping around. Even now I'm feeling like the pre-seizure activity, but I feel like I need to surrender and make this video. So it's kind of the experience that I was having that I'm having now, but I'm focusing on love and peace and relaxation. I'm gonna lean back a little bit so I can be supported. And then I might have to jump around. I'm not trying to not say certain things, but there was a point where I was extremely violent with my stepfather, who ripped his shirt, and there was like, I think it was the dark voice telling me that I told him, I said, you're gonna get the coronavirus, drink tomato juice, it will help you heal. And he wouldn't look at me and like believe me. So then I pulled his shirt and ripped his shirt. That's what he told me. I was barely aware of it. I just thought I kind of pulled his shirt a little bit, but I didn't realize how violent it was until he told me. And then I literally don't remember anything about doing anything violent to my mom, but she told me that I did. I don't know what that was. I do remember her. She came in the room and she lied down and slept next to me, because there were moments where I felt like it was almost like there were 2 voices, like the voice of love, and there was like a fear voice connected with the levofloxacin. And I don't know if it's 5G also or just the levofloxacin. I'm thinking it's the levofloxacin because I've been in the 5G network since I've been in New York, since like 6 months ago, unless something new has been just like updated. But so that was freaky for me to literally not remember anything about that, which my mom and Lottie both say happened with my mom. I don't know. And I've never not remembered something as important as that. And then the thing with Lottie, I thought I just pulled his shirt a little bit. I didn't realize it was violent. And that's what he said. So again, that's freaky too. So eventually the police came and like I had to, it was weird. It was like the darkness was making me, I was having like these convulsions and almost like seizures and these weird pain things, like extreme pain. And then at times this, like something was telling me I have to scream as loud as possible. And if I don't, something bad will happen. So I'd scream as loud as I could. And then like I had to like keep the peace. And then like this went on for a long time. And like I couldn't control it. And then there were times where I had to do like, I don't know what else, like these weird things. And like, this is really strange. And then it just kept on continuing, and then the cops came. But then there were also things like where, like these psychic abilities, and like, it felt like I was channeling positive spirits were coming through in a real, peaceful, grounded way. So like, it was super weird. And there's more, like, so I'll just tell you the very end and then I'll continue. But the thing that made it all stop and made it feel like, okay, there's like final integration, because it felt like at times where integration would end, but then it kicked in again. The thing, and I would have to keep on asking people to say certain words like feel, faith, freedom, and something like that. Like then I would tell Lottie, like, look in my eyes, and as soon as he did, like, then there was the peace. But then at other times, like when the cops came in, I would tell, like, to do certain things, and then as soon as somebody did it, then it would stop. And then as soon as they believed, like, it's like basically somebody believing me and like feeling, like, and then the faith, which spirit was, I feel like the good spirit was asking me to do. But then there was like this weird energy also asking me to do certain things that I couldn't like resist. So this went on, and like, and then in addition to the convulsions, like, I don't know, it was a weird combination with the THC and the levofloxacin. And then eventually, like, things would settle down, but then they would get worse, and then they would settle down and get worse. So like, even when the cops came, my mom was freaking out. Like, Lottie didn't know what was going on. And then, but eventually, I sat on the bed in the living room, and then they were talking to me, and they were freaking out, ready to take me instantly. But then I managed to like settle down the situation with like intuitive things. It's hard to describe, but I would tell like one woman, like, look me in the eyes. And then I said, like, as soon as this stops, or as soon as you look me in the eyes, this will stop. And she didn't. And then it just kept on continuing. And then I had to prove that I was like a rational, logical person. So I would like just say a math equation, or I would say like, oh, I was just in the room in there. My name is Ethan's sister. And I would say something else like that, and then it stopped. And then it would continue, and then I would tell her, look me in the eyes, and as soon as she, and then she didn't, but then, and then that thing would continue. And then, and I know this seems strange even to you, and it seems strange to me, but then it would continue, like the pain and like the weird, almost convulsion things. And then, but as soon as she looked me in the eyes, then it stopped. And all the cops were like, wait, what just happened? And then this continued with other things too. And this continued on and on. And eventually I had to leave, and my mom didn't want, because they were going to take me to a mental hospital. And they didn't want to take me to they weren't going to take me to jail, or maybe they were, and then a mental hospital, I don't know. But I ended up just going to some hospital. I don't remember what kind it was. It wasn't mental, but it wasn't jail. And eventually they sent me in a taxi home, and then I'm home now. But even what happened in between, which is an important part, the very last thing, because this went on and on for like hours, what I told you about like the psychic positive visions and downloads and information in real time, which would make it kind of stop and settle down, and with balance with that dark energy of that I felt like I had to surrender to make it stop, which was, I know it sounds contradictory, so that was going on. And then even this was going on even at the hospital, not like every moment, but every few moments, and then it would happen, and then I'd have to keep on connecting with like positive spirit, but also do this thing where like I would have to get somebody from the outside to do something weird, like say, like I told, like I think the first nurse that I saw say yellow, and they all thought I was crazy. So they were like, she wasn't saying yellow, and then I like say yellow, and I was handcuffed to the bed, thankfully, because I probably would have touched her or something, and then that would have made things worse. So I said, and then eventually I had to use the positive psychic abilities to make it stop, and that required extreme willpower because I was in so much pain. And then eventually, like for some weird reason, I had to tell other people certain things, and eventually she said yellow. There's something, or no, there was something somebody else said because she didn't say yellow right away, so I had to get somebody else, and then eventually that they said something like that I needed it to stop, and then everyone just paused still, as in like a movie, like whoa, what just happened? How did he know that? Because throughout the night it was saying things about people's like parent names and like dates that like they did certain things. It was weird. So eventually, I'm just gonna say this because I don't know how much longer I have to make this video. Just because of the extreme pain, and like it's kind of like, it's almost like spirit wants me to share this, positive spirit wants me to share this video, but the like weird energies don't want me to. So it's a weird thing. So eventually the last thing, but there's so much more to say, but I'll just say the last thing that made it settle down completely at the hospital after all this stuff that was going on was I knew somebody had to say Emily Ayana, and that's my ex-girlfriend, and like nobody was saying it, and I had to keep on. It required extreme focus. I felt like literally I was gonna die many times, and many times I actually literally surrendered to the death, and like literally it felt like I died, and then I come back to life. It like literally died and came back many times, and this kept on going on. The last thing that made it stop, where it felt like I didn't like get like one split second away from death, and this is something, a vision that I had in a ceremony a few years ago in Hawaii with Om and Maestro, is in the ceremony I had a vision of a knife pointing up at me, and I was on the floor and face down, and the knife was pointing up, and the thing that Spirit was telling me to was to surrender. But the thing was, I knew that I would die if I let go completely on this knife. And this was kind of the same feeling that was happening up until then, is that it felt completely wrong to surrender to certain things. But as soon as I fully, the bad things, and even like the good things, it felt like I had to surrender to them, but it was kind of easier to surrender to those things. But I was choosing to surrender to them. But even like you could say bad things, like the screaming, felt like I had to surrender to them, or else something bad would happen. It was weird. But the last thing that made it all kind of integrate at the hospital was face down, and the knife was there again, and this was after I literally died and came back a few times, and like, but the last thing that it felt like it was going to be the very last time that I was going to die, and like it's like, and there were other times where it felt like it was going to be the last time, but the very last time that made it stop at the hospital which was why they let me go home by some miracle, was when I got, and this was hard when I got, it was hard to get them to do this, but I got somebody to say Emily Ayana. Emily Ayana, just so you can hear it. Emily Ayana. So, even now, it's like, I think the level of flaxicin is still in the system a little bit, but I haven't taken it in at least, or not, it wasn't, it's 8:30 a.m. now. I didn't take it 12 hours ago, which is when I scheduled myself to take it at around 8 p.m. Well, I scheduled it exactly at 7:50 p.m., but I'm just saying that was around 8 hours ago, but it wasn't 8 hours ago that I took the dose. It was 8 hours plus 24 hours, so 32 hours ago. I've not taken it since then, but I still feel it slightly. So either it's still in the system somehow, maybe because my metabolism has been super slow with all these medications that I've been taking, and maybe just it's still stored in the fatty tissue because my liver hasn't been able to process a lot. But it kind of should be out of the system, I'm guessing, but I don't know. That's what I was thinking, the 5G, but then I'm thinking, no, like 5G, there's been 5G. So maybe it's the level of flaxicin, either it's still in the system or it affected the brain somehow. I don't know. But yeah, the very last thing was when somebody said Emily Ayana, then it stopped and they let me out of the hospital. So I can say Emily Ayana and it gets more relaxing. But it's still here, you know. But up until that point of somebody saying Emily Ayana, it was like I had to get something external to help it stop. Even now, I can balance it out, but it just requires focus. And the level of flaxicin, it like messed something up with the focus, and normally I have good focus. So that's where I'm at now. And there's a million other things happening. Like, I didn't realize it was like this, but my parents are so scared of what happened that they don't want me to live with them. And when they told me this, I was like, wait, what? I did that? I didn't know at all. So it's a really interesting experience. So my dad is gonna come to go with him, but I don't know when and where I'm gonna be. And he's gonna come. He's gonna come. And everything is gonna work out. So, and there's also the possibility of living with Maestro, who's teacher upstate. But that would have to happen quick because I don't know which one will happen. I need to get out of here because my parents don't feel safe. I know it's safe, but it's like, if my dad comes, then I can't go to live with Maestro upstate, which is out of the 5G. So I have to trust that this is not the 5G thing, it's the level of flaxicin. Like I said, which could be in the system or not, I don't know. I don't think it is, but yesterday I felt better, and then but it was still there, like that feeling was still there, kind of a little bit, like kind of what I'm feeling now, a little bit of that like pain and like weird energy. So it's a little better than yesterday, so that's a good sign. But so I'm just trusting that I'm meant to be with my father in North Carolina, and that's what's happening with that. So Yeah, all my YouTube videos, I wanted to make them public, but you know how long that takes. I thought you could just click a button that says select all and then click all to make public, but you can't. You got to go through each one now. And the thing is, I've been keeping all of my videos private because I wanted to wait till I posted my website to share them, you know, with people. But now it's going to take a really long time, you know, like really long. And I started to do it, but then I realized, wow, this can take long, so I still have to do that. But there's videos since October 2019 up until now. There's I don't know how many. There must be hundreds of them. I've been making videos as consistently as I can, even when I was in the hospital for brain surgery and then radiation and chemo, and had to go back to the hospital, and then even when the infection came back and I went in for the second head surgery, I was making videos, and then at home making videos. So there's hundreds of videos that are not public yet. So that's why I made this video, and that's why this video is public. So that's what I want to say, and to breathe a prayer of love for myself, with my hand on my heart, my stomach, of love. It's a rose quartz, crystal skull that I bought from my teacher, shaman in Hawaii, Om. And at a retreat, Erica Badu was there actually, and she saw it one day because, you know, I was helping facilitate not facilitate, but I was assisting in the retreat, like cleaning, cooking, just being an angel presence in the ceremonies. So that's why I was there, and I was living there at the time. So she looked at this, and I showed her it, and then she kissed it. So just wanted to share that with you. So I'm feeling the seizure activity, so I want to honor that and not push it further with this video. So with that being said, namaste and blessings and peace on all levels, just as we are now.